And welcome to the live stream. Yes, we are back for another Friday live stream. And we're coming to you from the Huckabee Theater in Nashville, technically Hendersonville, just outside of Nashville, but it's all in the big Nashville metropolitan area where we do our show every week. Pam Kay, senior producer for the show, joins me as she does every Friday. She's going to be reading the questions, and you know who's going to send them in? You are. That's right. You're going to send in the questions, and you can start doing that right now. If you send your questions in the chat, if you'd like a little more visibility, we bump the questions up. If you send us a super chat, whatever that is. But it's big and it's important, and it gives your question a greater chance of being one of them that we talk about today. We got moderators watching the chat for your questions. We'll get them to Pam. She'll get them to me. I'll get the answers to you as best we can. So what are we going to do today? Well, Kari Lake brilliantly flips the script on a reporter asking about her stance on abortion. Kari Lake, the gubernatorial candidate in Arizona. A Florida man says he's going to vote for DeSantis, even though he's a Democrat. And we also have a recipe for Kamala Harris's own homemade word salad. I'm sure it's one you're going to want to serve to your family. Well, my producer came across a great video making fun of Kamala's tendency to spew nothing but word salads. Believe it or not, it was put together by a liberal, Trevor Noah. So none of you have seen it yet, because who watches him? Obviously not many people, because he's left the show. He is no longer going to be on Comedy Central. But if we can get 1,800 likes on the stream right here today before we conclude, I'm going to play you that clip, and I'm very convinced that you're going to want to see it. So smash that like button. Just keep pushing it, because that's how we got to get there. 1,800 likes before the live stream ends. We show you the clip. How is that for a little bit of a bribe? Why not? We've got a little pre-show poll, I understand. What is that about?
Well, let's see. The pre-show poll says, should we use digital voting machines for U.S. elections? Yes? No?
So we're going to find out what people think.
We have the results already.
Oh, we do?
I mean, they've been doing this pre-show. So we have 89% say no, 11% say yes. Go.
Interesting. 89% say no can do.
No can do.
Interesting. Hey, there's something you can do. Subscribe to the channel. Have you not done that yet? Come on. Right now is a good time to do it. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. And, of course, be sure to leave a like, because if we get to 1,800, we show you a very wonderful video that you will be glad we showed you. Our favorite comment from last week's live stream is kind of more of a question. This is from Rob G. He asked this: can we get some adults back in office, please? We need the smartest people serving the USA, not the highest, dumbest, most tyrannical snakes. Just saying. What can I say to that? I don't disagree, Rob G. Wonderful observation of what's happening in our country. Well, this week, our question of the week is this: are gas prices going up where you live? Not asking you about your Aunt Mary who lives in Maryland or Uncle Bob out in California. We know their gas prices are going up. What about the prices where you live? Are they going up? And if so, how much? Be sure to leave your answer in the chat or in the comment section below. We'll try to get some responses to that during the course of our live stream. Okay, we got a lot of clips we're going to try to get to. This is one that just blows my mind. The head of Planned Parenthood, Dr. Bhavik Kumar, is asked by Congressman Andrew Clyde, is it possible for men, biological men, to get pregnant? Here's what the head of Planned Parenthood said.
Can biological men become pregnant and give birth?
So men can have pregnancies, especially trans men.
Yeah, men can have pregnancies, especially trans men. What the world does that mean? Have we lost our minds?
Absolutely, we have.
My God.
Well, somebody has. I'm not sure about you and me, but...
You know, I didn't have a significant biology course since 8th grade, quite frankly. I was not a pre-med student or anything. But good heavens, people, why is this so hard? There are two genders. And if you wonder, did I get that from a biology text? Yes. Also got it from the scripture. And he made them male and female. That's right there in the text. Those are the words of Jesus. For those of you who have an old-fashioned Bible, it's in red letters. Jesus really said it because that's the way God made the world. Read Genesis 1. There were male, there were female. That's the way it works. And this guy who says that, oh yeah, men can get pregnant and give birth. By the way, you know what I heard yesterday? There's a school, I can't remember exactly where it is, but a friend of mine was telling me that they have a relative whose kids are in the school. 2 women showed up at the school board meeting and demanded that they put a box of kitty litter in the girls' bathroom because some of the girls in the school are now identifying as furries.
Come on.
Do our viewers know what a furry is? A furry is a human being who identifies as a cat. And they dress like a cat, and they meow, and they make cat sounds, and they believe that they are cats. Now, it's crazy enough that a kid would think that, okay? But the dumbest thing is that you've got parents who are accommodating this insanity by demanding that the school system put litter boxes in the girls' restroom so that these furries, I don't even know where to go with that.
I'm sorry, you've caught me without words. I have no words, Gov.
None of us do. Good gosh.
I have no words.
Oh, man. Okay, I want to show you one of the best answers I have seen this election cycle. This is from Kari Lake. She is the governor candidate, Republican candidate for governor in Arizona. She won a tough primary there. She's a longtime TV anchor in the Phoenix market, 27 years. She was on television as a news anchor, left the news business because she's got fed up with what's happening in her country, is running for governor. And I just think her answer on the abortion issue is the one that I wish every Republican would have the guts to give. I want you to watch this. It's brilliant.
Abortion is effectively banned in the state right now. Tell me, is that something that you support?
I support saving as many lives as possible. And what I really want to know, and I've been waiting, I tune into you guys all the time, I want to know where Katie Hobbs stands, but I never hear you guys ask her that. She supports abortion right up until birth and after birth.
That's right.
She supports if a baby survives a botched abortion, that baby die on a cold metal tray.
True.
And none of you ever try to get her to talk about her stance. So get back to me after you do. And tell her.
I add my applause to Kari Lake. You go. This is what Republicans need to be doing. Quit being defensive. Quit pretending that your abortion position is something to be ashamed of. No, you stand for human life. You stand for its value. And you push back on the people who think it's okay to shred a baby's body in the mother's womb right up until the moment of birth and demand that they answer if they think that's okay. And what I loved about it, she's a longtime journalist and reporter for television, and she did not hesitate to push back and push back hard against the so-called journalists in that room who keep asking her abortion questions, but they never ask the Democrat to explain their position of a radical policy that is more radical than any nations except 2, China and North Korea. They're the only 2 nations that allow abortion in the same way the U.S. does. I thought it was just simply brilliant.
Wow.
Nancy Pelosi talking about these folks who have been shipped out of Texas and Florida to be sent up north where they're sanctuary cities. They're totally sanctuary cities and states until they get immigrants, and then suddenly they don't want to be anymore. But her answer is, I mean, this is one of the most xenophobic, racist things I think I've ever heard a public official say. Let's watch.
We have a shortage of workers in our country, and you see even in Florida, some of the farmers and the growers saying, why are you shipping these immigrants up north? We need them to pick the crops down here.
Yeah. We got to have them to pick those crops down south because they don't grow anything up north. This is incredible that she said that. If a Republican had said something like that we've got to have these illegal immigrants, picking the cotton and picking the corn and picking the strawberries and picking the peas. My gosh, we'd never heard the end of it.
Well, it would have led every hour on CNN.
Every hour for
hour.
weeks on end. Thank you, Nancy, for your sensitive comments and the fact that you think illegals only want to come here to pick crops in Florida. Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you something. You may not appreciate Ron DeSantis, Nancy Pelosi, but there's some folks in his state who are actually his constituents, and they kind of appreciate him. And they're not Republican. Watch.
About DeSantis, but that gas is here in Arcadia. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but it's here in Arcadia, so y'all know who we vote for. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm voting for DeSantis, and I'm a Democrat.
I just love this. I mean, he's just saying, look, this guy, DeSantis, got us gas in this town of ours, and I don't know about y'all, but I'm voting for the guy who's getting results. If that happens all over America, it's going to be a bad day on Election Day for the Democrats. All they do is virtue signal about how much better they are, look down their nose at working class people, call every person who's pro-life, conservative, and Christian a threat to democracy, a deplorable, a racist, a fascist, and real people out there in the real world, they just want to be able to live their lives with some degree of freedom. That's good reason enough to subscribe to this channel, right? So do it right now. Subscribe, hit the notification bell. And remember, 1,800 likes before the stream finishes, and we're going to show you an absolutely hilarious and brilliant clip that Trevor Noah's Daily Show put together. Yeah, you heard me right. It may be the only time Trevor Noah came up with something that's actually funny. This one is. Trust me, you're going to want to see it. So you have to click the like button so we get to 1,800. And if you haven't liked this stream so far, click the like button 3 times. Not once, not twice. 3 times. I said that we were going to give you a little bit of Kamala Harris's word salad, right?
Yes, you promised that.
Are you ready for this one?
I'm afraid, but all right, go for it.
This is like the salad bar at Golden Corral. Let's watch.
Let's deal with that disconnect, which we also refer to as disparities, because we see that people in our country are having an experience that is not equal. And that's why we talk about equity, because we recognize not everybody starts out on the same base. They don't start out in the same place, even though they have the same God-given capacity. So when we talk about the work we are doing here together, it is recognizing that and being guided by this principle of what we must do in the spirit and in the interest of equity.
I'd say pour an entire bottle of ranch dressing on that, throw the salad away, and just suck the dressing right out of the bottle. Good gosh.
I had a hard time even listening to her, and then with the beautiful graphic support. I want to give kudos to whoever did that. It was fabulous.
One of our staff, I just heard.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, hey, that's good job, guys.
Outstanding.
Very
good work. I will say this.
We have a great team.
The graphics on the salad were way better than the speech
any of the words.
Vice President. That is for sure.
Absolutely.
Look, I give Joe Biden a hard time about a lot of things, but one of the things that I find just amazing, no matter whatever happens in the world, he actually was there. He is Waldo J. Biden. And if you don't believe it, he was recently down in Puerto Rico to view some hurricane damage. And lo and behold, why, Joe was raised by Puerto Ricans. Who knew? Watch.
We have a very, in relative terms, large Puerto Rican population in Delaware, relative to our population. And so I was sort of raised in the Puerto Rican community at home, politically.
I mean, this is so far-fetched. This is the same guy who also tried to get a fight with Corn Pop. You remember the dude at the swimming pool? And Joe got a big metal chain, chased him off after the little kid sat in his lap and played with the white hairs on his leg. That was disgusting, by the way, when he went through all that stuff. Now, turns out Joe was raised by Puerto Ricans in, of all places, Delaware. Because I know when I think of Delaware, my first thought is, yeah, that's where all the Puerto Ricans live, right? Delaware. It's unbelievable. of course, the press really hammered him on this. Not. No, of course they didn't. They did not. Absolutely, they did not. Well, anyway, so that didn't happen. Let's go to some questions.
All right, we're going to start with the super chat. Now, this one, listen carefully. It's from Stud467111524. All right, that's the question. But referring to a recent comment that Elon Musk has made about Trump's Truth Social app. I think that's the one, he called it a right-wing echo chamber, I think is what I read. Have you heard that?
Hadn't heard that.
Okay, from Elon?
Yeah.
That was just, he was just looking for your response.
Oh, he was
to that. Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if I was supposed to respond to that. You know, it probably is pretty much true. I don't think people on the far left go to Truth Social, Donald Trump's social media platform, other than to maybe just be trolls. They're not there because they believe in Donald Trump's social media platform. So he may be right. I won't even argue with him on that.
All right, David Hawkins is writing today for you to tell your daughter how much we appreciated what she did and how much that she's missed.
Oh,
so
how nice.
That's nice. Robbie Douglas writing as well today, why don't the Republicans take all of this negative Democratic wrongs and run with it when they're campaigning? One's the border, the other is the economy.
Yeah, the border, the economy. Let me add a third one, crime. Because I think that that's going to be one of the driving issues, especially for suburban women. You know, the ones that supposedly the only thing they care about is ripping a baby to shreds in their own womb. Guess what? You know what? Women in suburban communities, they really care about raising their children in a neighborhood where their kids can go out in the yard and play and not be shot by a random bullet in a drive-by shooting. They'd really like for their kids to be able to walk to school and not fear being abducted or run over or hit in the head with a brick by some thug who just randomly kills their children. So I think crime is also going to be a huge issue. I will add that to the two he mentioned.
All right, great, thank you. Jay Luther writing today, Governor, how about the latest $1 billion of weapons sent to the Ukraine this week? What does the governor, you, think about the CBS report that 70% of the weapons are sold on the black market? And have you seen that?
Of the weapons that are sold to Ukraine?
Well, I'm sorry, repeat that?
We're getting...
Oh, okay, sorry. So, yeah, we've got another note about that. Let's see. So CBS did report this more or less, but they said only 30% of arms made it to the front lines, and then they censored their own report, retracting the documentary on August 7th. So that's an update to that
so
from his
CBS
question.
reported that it was being sold on the black market, then they had to correct it and say that was not true.
That's right.
Whoa, you mean CBS missed a story and didn't report it accurately? I'm shocked. I sit here shocked that a major American news organization would absolutely misreport a story. I'm not sure I can go on, but I'm going to try.
All right, pull it together and we'll see what we can do. All right, Richard Barnes asking, Governor, why doesn't ballot harvesting get the tree huggers riled up?
That's funny.
That's a question in all caps.
Yeah. All I got to do is leave that one on the floor. It's a great rhetorical question. It needs no answer. It is its own answer for sure.
All right. So we have another question too. Should Nancy Pelosi submit for a cognitive test? They're good today. They're on fire.
They are. We got some great comments. Once again, I don't need to comment on that one. I just let it sit on the table and let everybody ruminate about the thought of Nancy Pelosi taking a cognitive test. And right behind her will be a long line of congressional Democrats and people in the White House who will also be taking the same test.
Doug McKee writing today, Governor, how many of these other countries we've been bailing out and buying their oil are going to help us with the cost of rebuilding after Hurricane Ian?
Zero. Absolutely none of them. We are a donor nation to everybody who gets in trouble, and we are never the recipient nation. Now, you know, I'm not going to whine about that because I want us to be a donor nation. I don't give to my church or to charitable causes with the hope that I'm going to get something back. I give it because it's God's nature. I think He put it in us that love Him and want to identify with Him. And we never do it for the reciprocity of getting something back. But as governments go, it's very true that the Americans are always the first on the scene when any tragedy strikes anywhere on the globe. And then we're vilified for being imperialist, for being, you name it, racist, whatever we're called for the particular day. It's one of the reasons I'm kind of fed up with that. And quite frankly, I don't want us to quit helping the people who are in need, but I don't want to bail any governments out, most of whom are corrupt. And when we send aid to a government, it never gets to the actual people. So my experience is if you really want to help people, whether they're in Ukraine or whether they're in Florida, give to organizations like Samaritan's Purse that actually deliver the help. By the way, Pam, my wife is in Kentucky on deployment with Samaritan's Purse. She'll be there for another couple of weeks. And, you know, she's helping with floods that happened a couple of months ago.
Right.
Most of the relief organizations have long ago since pulled out, but Samaritan's Purse stays until their work is done. So they may be there for a year.
Wow.
And she's up there, you know, with that. They were going to send her to Florida because of all the hurricane damage, but they've got a lot of volunteers that are moving from the southeast, and so they asked her to go to Kentucky. So that's where she is right now. But that's, you know, what I appreciate. There are organizations, and they don't do a thing for what they get out of it. They do it because, in the case of Samaritan's Purse, the Christian organization, they very adamantly say they do it in Jesus' name. Kind of refreshing. I want to go to a clip. This is Nancy Pelosi. She's telling us what an amazing job Joe Biden has been doing as president. And you just wonder, this kind of goes back to that comment about does she need to take a cognitive test? Watch this clip, and I think you'll know the answer.
Real tribute to President Biden. He has been a great president. He has accomplished, we've working together, accomplished so much. And that is beginning to have some appreciation in the public in terms of his leadership.
Yeah, that was spoken on the Stephen Colbert show. Somehow Stephen Colbert kept a straight face because I think he probably agrees with her. And I'm just wondering, can you name those things that Joe Biden has done that has really made our lives better? Is crime down? Is it safer to be on our streets than it was 2 years ago? Gasoline, does it cost less than it did 2 years ago? What about your groceries? Are you paying less for your groceries than you did 2 years ago? What was a gallon of milk costing 2 years ago? Dozen eggs, loaf of bread. What's it cost now? So help me understand these great things he's done, because some of us are missing it, completely missing these great things. Okay, got another question for us?
Oh, absolutely, sir. Michelle Campbell asking, hey, Mike, does Biden ever change his mind? He never says the same thing twice.
Well, he only says what he reads off the teleprompter when he's squinting and yelling. Occasionally, he goes off script, and when he does, the White House, all the staff, they run for mops and buckets because they know they have a serious cleanup in aisle 46. It's just like, oh no, there he goes. He's going to say something that we didn't write for him, and boy, are we in trouble. Look, I want to keep you out of trouble. To all of you who are watching our live stream today, here's how to do it. If you'll hit the subscribe button, your life will be better. And it'll even get better when you hit the notification bell. When you do those two things, it gets better. And here's the reminder, we got to get 1,800 likes from you before the stream finishes. And we're going to show you a brilliant clip from Trevor Noah about the vice president that I know you're going to enjoy. But quite frankly, we're not going to play it for you until we get 1,800 likes, because that's just the way we play ball around here. We bribe you. We tease you. We play with your emotions because we can. And hopefully you respond and you hit that like button 1,800 times, and we'll play it for you, and you'll be glad that we did and glad that you hit the like button for sure. There's a clip. Well, it's not on my list. It was supposed to be on my list. Let's see if we can get to it, because I really want to. This is the one. Can you get the one, Stacey Abrams? Is that available for us? Where she denies that she ever doubted the election? Okay, because this is, you know, the actual governor of Georgia, who in 2018 lost the election but never admitted she did. She's running again against Brian Kemp, who is leading by several points. I don't think it's going to be even close this time. But she has said repeatedly, especially in the aftermath of the election, that she was cheated, that the election was rigged and robbed. And then she said, oh no, she never said that. Well, you know, video doesn't lie. Let's watch.
I have never denied the outcome. And I do have one very affirmative statement to make. We won. But I didn't lose. I got the votes. I did win my election. I just didn't get to have the job. We were robbed of an election. It was a stolen election. And I'm not saying they stole it from me. They stole it from the voters of Georgia. In fact, someone outside asked if I'm ever going to concede. The answer is no. It was not a free and fair election. I think the election was stolen from the people of Georgia. I said that the election was stolen from the Georgia voters. It was stolen from the voters of Georgia.
There we go. So she said, I never doubted the election results. And then you saw about 20 times when it's exactly what she did. So I don't know how people, think that they're going to be able to get away with that. We're not living in the 1700s. Right. I mean, it's not like somebody wrote it down wrong. Mm-hmm. It's her face and her voice, and it's captured forever.
Yes, on the internet, social media, all of the things now in these days. Can't hide from that.
It lives.
It lives forever.
Forever.
It does, sir.
And some young people are going to regret that they ever said some things they did, because maybe at their 50th high school reunion, somebody's going to put it up on the screen and say, yes, you did.
Oh,
and
my
here
gracious.
It is. Okay, I want to show you this. At the White House press briefing, Peter Doocy from Fox News asked Karine Jean-Pierre about gas prices, because when they started going down a little bit, not anywhere near where they were when Biden took office, but they went down a little bit, Biden got all the credit. Why, he did that. He was the one that's making them go down. So Peter Doocy asked the most obvious question in the room that only he had the guts to ask.
The president was responsible for gas prices coming down. Is the president responsible for gas prices going up?
So it's a lot more nuanced than that, right? Peter, you know this.
You always know when she is lying when she starts the sentence with so, and almost every sentence begins with so, and she says, well, it's really more nuanced than that. No, it isn't. You said gas prices going down were Joe's doings. So if that's true, then gas prices going up must also be Joe's doings. It's not that hard, Karine. It isn't. Just admit it. Either you screwed up when you said it then, or gas prices really are going up because of Joe, which, by the way, they are. Joe shut down domestic production. You cannot deny that. He did it because he hates the fossil fuel industry. Then he went hand in hand to OPEC, especially to the Saudis, where he fist-bumped the crown prince, begging for oil in his 5-gallon gas can. This week, OPEC not only said, no thanks, they cut production by 2 million barrels a day, which means the price is up over $93 a gallon, which means the price at the pump is way up to wherever you are. And it also means that now we're looking for other sources. Where? What about Venezuela? Which, by the way, you may not be aware of this, Venezuela has some of the dirtiest oil on the face of the earth. We actually have some of the cleanest oil that requires much less refining, puts out much less pollution. So why wouldn't Joe want the less polluting oil and gas from our own energy supply and instead go down to Venezuela and get some of the nastiest stuff on earth and help the communists out? I don't get that. I don't know how anybody can somehow justify that that makes any sense.
Agreed.
Okay, let's go to some questions.
All right, Teresa Ballou is asking today, Governor, will Republicans do anything this time or just sit on their hands like they did when they had the power the last time?
Boy, Teresa, it's a great question. I wish I knew. All I can do is hope. Here's what I do know, that if they don't win the elections in November in the House and Senate, they can't do it. If they win the elections, they can, and I would say to them, and you must. You cannot sit on your hands. And yes, I remember after the 2012 elections, they went in with a bang. They're going to repeal Obamacare. They're going to make accountability for the IRS and the Lois Lerner nonsense where she was targeting Christian groups. And they didn't do it. They didn't do it. And so it becomes very important if the Republicans win, and I hope they do, that they show us some spine and they get in there and do the job that they're sent to do. And they're not sent to just go to sweet little cocktail parties over in Georgetown. They're expected to hold accountable the people in the Department of Justice and the FBI for the lies and the corruption, to hold Adam Schiff and people in the Congress accountable for the lies they've told, to get to the bottom of January 6th. I think we're all ready for that. But let's get to the real bottom of it. I still want to know who Ray Epps is, this guy that was telling everybody going to the Capitol. He never got arrested. Nothing ever happened to him. And there were people who weren't even there that day that got arrested. Their lives ruined. I want to know why this guy didn't. Who is he? Who did he work for? Why did nobody touch him? Inquiring minds want to know.
Governor Zelda May, before I go into that actually too, we are so close being able to show that bonus video today. So keep liking, everybody. Like, smash.
Like button.
Okay.
Like it. Okay.
Meanwhile, we'll answer another question. Zelda Me is writing today, Governor, what can we do? What can the people do besides vote? In addition to voting, what else can they do?
I don't want to sound trite when I say you can pray, because that sounds, yeah, okay, I pray. But I mean, really, pray that people wake up. It also means show up. Show up at school board meetings. Show up at city council meetings. Show up at your state legislature. Show up at town halls. Don't be rude. Don't yell and scream and make a fool of yourself. But ask tough questions. You know, I've always believed, and as a public official, I did town halls every single month. I did an hour on television every single month I was governor. And I never had the questions filtered or screened. I said, let it come. These are the people I work for. They're my bosses, and my boss always has a right to ask me questions and hold me accountable. So hold elected officials accountable. Ask them the tough questions, and don't just let them give you a blow-off answer. Politely, respectfully follow up and ask for a real answer when they give you the nonsense, which they probably will the first time you ask it.
All right, Kathy is asking today, Gov, and this goes along with some things we've already talked about, but a little bit deeper. Is there a chance that the GOP takes the Senate in 2022 with so many Republicans in name only in play? Will it matter?
It'll still matter because judicial appointments will matter, and there will be some tough, tight votes that Republicans in the Senate will feel obligated to stand firm on. Now, you're going to have the Mitt Romneys who will weasel out every chance they get so that they can pretend that they're so bipartisan, which is really so they can be just so weak and such a sellout. But for the most part, we're way better off with the majority, even a slight one and even a shaky one, than we are like it is now, where the other side is in the majority, and if they want to, they just run right over us. So I'll always take half a loaf instead of no loaf at all. And I think in politics, I know it's hard, but sometimes people, they want everything, they want it right now. But I always say to people, remember this is a rule of politics. You're never going to get everything you want, and you're never going to get it all right now. So if you're not patient, and if you're selfish, and you wanted everything your way and you want it right now, you're going to be the most disappointed people in all of the earth. How close are we to getting to there?
Well, we're still a couple hundred away, probably, just a little short.
We only have a few seconds.
Only have a few seconds, so hit those like buttons.
You know what? We're not going to play it unless we get 1,800 likes. So, I mean, we got to hit some like buttons right now.
In the next 30 seconds, make it happen, everybody. Governor Kathy in Long Beach is asking, do you feel we as a country, I think she's looking for some encouragement here, do we feel as a country that we will ever come together again?
You know, I'm going to maybe give you a different answer than you were expecting, because the answer may be yes or no. And I'm going to say to you, I don't know that we're ever going to come together, but we can salvage what's left of the republic. And there may still be some dissidents who will just scream and gag at everything that happens in America because they think we're a horrible racist country. But for those of us who don't, I think we don't sit around and worry so much about what they think. We just build majorities. We build a great country. We make it possible for people, whatever color they are, whatever gender they are, wherever they live, the north, the south, the east, or the west, to be able to prosper, raise their families with peace and joy and excitement about this country, welcome people from all over the world who come here to make this a better place. We just live our lives with joy and with anticipation and excitement. And don't worry about the stragglers and the people who, no matter what you do, will never be happy. So can we satisfy them and bring them together? Quite frankly, probably not. But I'd say ignore them and make them long for the joy that many of us have by being American.
All right, we inched in to
Did we make
the
it?
video. Yes. Remember, we had a little lag last week, and we know that's in there. So we are playing it, Governor.
Okay, so because you came through, even if it was, you slid into home plate as the ball just crossed the catcher's mitt, so barely made it. But this is that video we were telling you about by Trevor Noah. He put it together, and it's pretty stinking good.
Take this stuff seriously as you are, because you have been forced to have to take it seriously.
Obesity is a serious disease, and it needs to be taken seriously.
You need to get to go and need to be able to get where you need to go to do the work and get home.
I hope that clarifies the issue, and this can be the last word on those words.
Certain issues are just settled.
Clearly we're not.
No, that's right, and that's why I do believe that we are living, sadly, in real unsettled times.
I love that. It was great. They took little clips from the TV series Veep.
Yes.
And interspersed it with Kamala Harris's remarks. And when a comedy show makes more sense than your vice president, quite frankly, we're laughing, but we're in deep trouble.
Absolutely.
Deep trouble. Hey, be sure to leave your comments and questions in the comment section below. And if you haven't already done it, right now is the best time to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll know when we're going to be back with you again. We're so glad you joined us on the live stream today. We hope you'll join us next week for another Live with Mike live stream.